All right, let's get going. So, Dian, I will hit play and then over to you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's online educational by Bali Hotels Association. Today we will talk about our folder blog. And before we start, I would like to hand the screen to our chairman, Pak Jong.
Hello, Bu. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for the time. I think it was important to have this call in order to introduce our new platform. But before Simona and Melinda and all the group go into details for this platform, I just want to thank everyone for the construction of it and explain a bit the why we have done or we have chosen to build this this tool. When we arrive at the end of the first semester, we have seen that unfortunately Bali was still closed and we didn't have the key, or we were not the people able to decide on when and how we would be able to open again our fantastic island. So what we knew is that during the last months we have received a lot of requests from you, from some colleagues, from some owners, from some guests regarding the current situation in Bali. We knew that the government also was issuing a lot of different updates on their regulations. And we knew also that a lot of hoax were going around. It was creating a bit of disinformation and very difficult to make sure that we have the right information certified and that we can then act quite quickly and inform the relevant stakeholders. So together with the board, we have decided that for the second semester, what was really important was to have a dedicated platform where we can have authentic and accurate information for all of us. And then when we will open, or when we will have the possibility to reopen our national or international borders, we will have the possibility to update the system on a daily basis. So I will hand over to Simona and Mel for the description. Thank you again for being here. This tool is for you, is not for us. It's for all of you, and please use it and share it as much as you can. Thank you once again. Up to you, Mel and Simona, for the description.
Thank you, Jean. So this is our current campaign that you'll see across the social media channels, which is Our Best Shot. It's kind of morphed into a little bit of a from Our Best Shot to the smile behind the mask. So we've tried to make all our campaigns as timed with what is the current situation. So before I hand over to Simona, I just want to reinforce that what we've been doing is pivoting during the pandemic, not because that's how we usually do business, but because of the regulations and the changes in the situation, that we've had to be like that. So there was a lot of fear in the beginning. We probably still today, there's a lot of fear and uncertainty, but we do need to move forward and we need to make sure that we're ready to move whenever it's possible. So what you're going to see today is just a little bit of how we've managed to do that as an association and make sure that we highlight the right message at the right time. Over to you, Simona.
All right. Good morning again, everybody. So yes, this is what Melina was talking about. So our best shot and the smile behind the mask, and how obviously we were hoping that this campaign would be a starting ground to reopening. But at the moment, obviously, our concern is still the health and safety of our teams and of everybody on the island. You're probably familiar with these images, and your sales and marketing teams, social media teams have probably been sharing their images from your properties that reinforce the same message, as we've been trying to really put out a unified message about the importance of our vaccination campaign. I think we can move to the next slide. We've been really looking forward to this moment where we can say that Bali will warmly welcome you back soon. At the moment, it's still a future projection, but obviously this will be our keyword as we are looking forward to reopening and people restart traveling. In the meantime, we have built in a lot of other points into this, as you can see, images from CHSE certifications and all the ways that properties on the island have been getting ready to welcome back the customers. So a little bit about the background and how this blog has come about. I think during the pandemic, one of the key words for everybody has been agility, right? And being able to adapt to situations very fast. So in the same way that we have adapted our operations, also our marketing messages have changed, right? I think generally in hotels, we're all about advertising, of course, our own brand and our own specific promotions. But in the last 18 months, what we have seen is that the importance of sending out a unified message, of representing the destination above our specific property and our specific product that we are trying to promote. So this is a good example. I think we can move to the next slide. So welcome back to Bali is exactly this, right? It's not an advertising platform for spa or food and beverage promotions. It is not a guide on what to see in Bali, because there is plenty of those already online. It's really focused on information for travelers. So it's everything that a potential traveler would like to know before coming to the island, while they are here on the island, once international travel reopens, and of course, in the meantime, also for domestic visitors, and also how to go, what are the requirements for returning back home. I think we can move to the next slide. So this is our, oh, there was a nice view in between. That's our sleeve up campaign. So right after we started with mask on and moved into the vaccination campaign, obviously that was our sleeve up as we are trying towards the end of the first quarter and the second quarter, as we have all promoted our vaccination, and of course reinforcing the message that we're all in this together. So it's about projecting a unified image from the tourism industry in Bali. Okay, I think we can move on. So this is exactly what our blog is. As it says there, it's a one-stop place, because I think we've all experienced that at the moment, it is very difficult sometimes to find the right information, whether this is about entry requirements or updated vaccination data, or whether it's about what the requirements are for domestic and international. This information changes very frequently. And that's exactly what the blog is there for, to make sure that we keep this information updated. As you know, Bali Hotels Association has obviously always been committed to promoting Bali as a whole and representing all our members. And the same way, over the last 18 months, we have adapted our efforts in supporting the island's tourism recovery, and of course also working alongside with the government's plan to reopen Bali. So the idea is this website is for everybody. It's for fellow hoteliers, it's for guests, it's for stakeholders, it's for anybody who needs to access information. Maybe Melina wants to tell you a little bit more about the different sections in the website.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Kevin from Conrad to comment, because he has also been part of creating the content and organising it so it makes sense. So Kevin, feel free to jump in.
Thanks, team. It's been a great process to go through to consolidate, like Simona was saying, all the various information that's out there, and to filter through what, in the lens of a potential guest to Bali, would be looking for. How do I get there? What do I need to do? What are all the laundry list items of vaccination certificates, testing, and so on? How does it work? How do I get there? How do I quarantine? And so on. So what we've tried to do is make a really simple flow from the top side down through all the details. Once in a snapshot, it tells you a little bit about one step to the next if you're coming in, and then it links out to all of the different blogs that are there. When you're looking at the site, we've got already a lot of great comments and feedback about organizing it and then making cosmetic changes and so on. But if you do see things that you think are needed, please share them with us, and it's very, very easy to update. There are some tags there that make it easy if you're looking for, if you're an international traveler or if you're a domestic traveler, which one applies to you. There's a quick reference as to when it was originally published and then updated as well, so you can see the last time that article was updated. So it gives travelers coming to Bali a really good indication as to the recency of the information that's there, and I think builds a lot of confidence and trust that the information is accurate, as well as being able to sign up to email and so on to get updates on a more regular basis if they want to. So
Sorry, it's a small technical glitch. I'm just going back in.
When you look at the site, both on desktop and mobile, it's really quite clear to see. There are still some small issues to sort out, but at the end of the day, I think you look at this site now, and for guests who are contacting our hotels and saying, so how do I do this? As opposed to every hotel having to build this out and to maintain the content accurately, quite an onerous task. This site is the one-stop shop. Just send it out. Here it is. This is the information. And you can quickly link to the various pages there if there's something that you're seeing that guests are asking more for, or if you also notice that guests are asking for things that are not listed there, please feel free to communicate that to us. So along the side, you see sort of all the posts that are there, latest updates, and then entry and exit requirements. Travelers' information is more about when you're on the island and what might be required when you're moving around. Vaccination updates as to what's going on the island, and then official sites and useful links. This is more about how to get to the official documents from government. If you need to apply for a visa, how to do that, and so on. So the campaigns is about the sleeve up campaigns, the various mask on campaigns that we've been going on, and then just to share with I guess what might be expected when you're getting here.
The top blue bar, whilst there's only ever one message up there, it's the most important and relevant message in blue that we want people to know. And the feedback has been, when we did some testing with people from overseas, was that they want to just know when Bali's reopened for them to come for a holiday. So it will change to that. If you look at the site now, the message is that Bali's not open yet to international visitors. On the right-hand side of the alerts, which they're a little bit annoying, yes, but once you close them, they should not come back on the site. And if they do, that there's a bug, and you'll need to just let us know. But if you go visit the next day, if there's a new alert, you will get the new alert, or you'll get served up the most important alert. So yeah, you do have to close them a little bit, and it's a little bit busy on the mobile. We're just actually in the middle of changing it. So there's one alert that they'll sort of fade in and fade out on the mobile, but at the moment it's a list of alerts that comes up, or notifications. Sorry, Kev, go on.
That's good. I think there's just one more point that I wanted to make is about language capability. We've tried to build the site so that it's browser friendly for translation. Most people are just doing that now, clicking to translate, and we try to keep everything very succinct in the English language so that it's when it does translate, it moves over quite simply. And then there is, of course, a great disclaimer that says, you're still responsible for taking care of your own actions. And we're trying to guide along, but at the end of the day, people do need to take it on themselves to get to the full information. So this is a great tool, a great starting point for when people are starting to ask, where is the information? It's here. So links out to all of those key applications and so on are there, whether it's the Peduli Lindungi site or in the application or the EHAC application as well. How to download, and then there's video there that comes from their site on how to do it. So I think it's a great
as
tool.
well. So if we've worked out that there's a way around something that maybe be a little bit buggy from the government application app sites, we've put some tips in there. There are videos on how to as well, so that we sort of do a little bit of help along the way. Whether the particular post applies to international travellers or domestic travellers, as Kevin mentioned, is there as well. So all in all, it's a really user-friendly, helpful tool. And we would appreciate that if any members are going through it and you see incorrect information, which there shouldn't be, but if you do, let us know, or you think we're missing something, let us know. I think Simona mentioned earlier on, it's not about the beautiful pictures of Bali. It's about real, timely information that people need at the moment. Currently, these are some of the hashtags we're using: mask on, sleeve up, travel responsibly, our best shot. Feel free to use those even with the assets that we'll be sharing in regard to Welcome Back to Bali as well. Simona, is there anything else you want to say before I move on to the next section?
No, I think just the fact that obviously it's all a tie-in, right? What you see right now on the screen is the campaigns we have been running as a summary. So mask on, obviously sleeve up for the vaccination, and our best shot, and travel responsibly. So obviously they all connect back again to the blog. So it's kind of coming full circle in terms of information and things we can do before we actually look at the reopening phase.
And it all ties in nicely with Bali, a new kind of adventure videos that we did as well, which a lot of your teams unfortunately have not been using, but the material is definitely available. There are images like this with 30-second videos. There's an entire manual on how your teams can be using. So we do have a lot of really vital material that can be used in regard to whatever the situation stands today and tomorrow. I see a lot of the material that the hotels are presenting right now, and I'm seeing that it probably is getting harder and harder to try to come up with something. So mix it up a little bit with what we've got available just for our members. This takes me to the assets, which are available to be downloaded on Google Drive, which we'll send the link through to everybody when we send through the presentation. You can mix them up. We're not going to have some hard, fast guidelines that you need to adhere to. Feel free to use them in whichever way you think is important to your brand and your product. Simona?
Yeah, so I think you have quite a variety from them. Obviously, you all know best what's suitable to your property and your corporate brand if you are a corporate property. But we just wanted to give you some ideas of how this can be used. So what you see here is just a list of the most common ones. And obviously you have a lot of images that Melina has just shown you that can be used as email footers. You can put a link on your website. You can obviously use them on social media. So you can share posts or stories, or you can add a link to your bio. So your potential guests can find the information very easily. If you have a mobile application, or if you have a mobile phone service for your guests, that can also be linked to that. It's a useful source of information, interdepartmental, right? Your HR will maybe very happy to have a one-stop shop where they can go for anything from CHC to linking to our favorite app, Peduli Lindungi. So there's that option as well. And then of course there's other stakeholders. So there's a lot, I personally get quite a lot of questions from overseas agents. So this is also a great tool to share with them, to give them a quick access. And then obviously it also gives you access to all the content to support your marketing efforts. Like Melina said, it's obviously hard to populate social media with not so much happening on site. This is a great way to integrate, right? It doesn't in any way take away from your team's effort. It's just adding to it. Also, if we can just go back for 1 second and then we can look at examples. I just want to remind you also, how, as we are preparing for customers to come back, or if you are still using these tools also with your domestic customers, there's a lot of moments in the guest journey where these can be integrated, right? So you may have a link in your replies to reservation inquiries, since we're talking earlier about the reservation team also being on the call. You may use specific information for a guest query in a referral, or if you have a guest preference form or a pre-arrival form that your customers are filling out, you can also link that to welcome back to Bali so that guests can get all the information. Same for during their stay. If there's any questions, I'm sure my guest service team is very happy if they have an easy way to access information rather than having to hunt for it. And obviously it also assists us operationally in determining what are the departure requirements, as we expect that things will evolve very quickly at some stage when we're reopening, and also the regulations will change, right? We are seeing this in other destinations at the moment where it's a bit of a trial and error as things are being used in practice. Some regulations are being changed. I'm looking, for example, at what's happening in Phuket. Things are slowly changing and evolving. Welcome back to Bali will obviously always have the most updated information and hence help in adapting to the newest possible regulations from a governmental side. I think that's a bit of the key. And of course, there's a million other uses that may be specific to your property. This is just to give you some ideas of what you could do with it.
So as Simona was mentioning, there's lots of different places that you can use the logo, the banner, the link, the text link, the tagline. We've just, the idea is that everybody sends out the right message with the right information, and you don't have someone at reception and someone at reservation or someone in sales all sending out, you know, different wording or different messages. So this is an example of one of our members on their COVID-19 update page of their website. They've used the logo and then they've put a link for the latest on how to get to Bali and return safely. And then it links to the Welcome Back to Bali website. Another example could be that on your website header, you just put a nice yellow frame underneath. It's you know, doesn't distract from the look and feel of the site. It is just very important to have that message highlighted. Again, it really depends on what is allowed. Lawrence, you might like to just jump in at the moment. And maybe talk about a little bit about the brand guidelines that some hotels will have to adhere to.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, what I would like to firstly say is that travel is more complicated today than what it was before, much more complicated. And we have to be realistic about this. It's probably going to be like this for the foreseeable future. And that's why from a corporate perspective, personal perspective, I've just had my family travel back from abroad. It's very complicated and stressful. And I actually used this website a few times to look at some of the information. So I think from whether it's an independent hotel or a big corporate chain, we should embrace this this portal, because it is for all of us and it's for our guests at the end of the day. So we should put our, our differences aside and just really embrace this and make it part of the Marriott communication culture to potential guests coming to Bali. So that's firstly. Secondly, like you say, it's a non-affiliate or neutral website. So whichever way you can manage to work with your area teams or with your owners, whoever, to find a way to incorporate this into either your websites, social media, or like you say, your guest communication. There would not be a conflict of interest or a clash with branding or anything. So my opinion is let's see what we can do to get it out there. Yeah, it's just like last thing I want to say is the bottom line is it's just for our guests and it's for them to feel comfortable traveling. Like I think Kevin said earlier, someone said guests have to choose the destination before they choose the hotel. So and by promoting this, and again, like I say, making it part of our communication culture to our guests, you say that whether it's guests or even with our back of house associates as well, this will only benefit us. And it will benefit our guests as well. So let's embrace it. And again, like I say, thank you for everybody involved in coming up with this. It's a lot of work that's gone into it. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Lawrence. So notice this, or you may not have noticed this promo teaser we've been doing. Just a little bit of fun with Australian friends at Katuk. Feel free to use it. The video will be integrated with your branding at the end of the message. Your guys are all very clever and can manipulate this video to put your branding on with it as well. So it's getting some good comments. So on the Google Drive link that you'll get, there will be a folder with graphics, which show basically all the illustrations, the icons, the logos, the font type. There's the folder with just the logos. Hopefully, by the end of today, a press release will also be included in there. We're just waiting to have it in Indonesian, and we really weren't going to release the press release until we had our press conference, which at this point, we just have to wait for the update to the PPKM that should be released on Monday, and then we'll let you know what we're doing with that. And the videos are in there as well. So I never really got to use this for BHA, which was Bali starts to warmly welcome you back the way I had envisaged it. But we did use it periodically when we had some domestic business coming through. But the reality is that since April last year, no visa on arrival has been available. And this is the message that immigration is actually doing a really good job now of putting out the information both in English and in Indonesian. There are a lot of government information coming out, but unfortunately it is only in Indonesian. So I take my hat off to immigration for getting their act together on that. So thank you for listening to us all today. And I'm going to hand over to Dia, who's going to handle the Q&A side. And I would ask that all our board members make themselves available if you know the answer to the question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mel. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions on the Welcome Back to Bali portal or any other questions?
Hi, dear, this is Eugene. Just one bit, guys. A fantastic job. Really great to see one source of information make everyone's life easier. Just one bit on the vaccination numbers in Bali. Can we please refer to the percentage of first and second dose versus the total population rather than target? Because, guys, targets are confusing. Everyone has their own targets, and eventually we will have 110%, 120% of 70%. Let's just keep it simple based on the current government information. Bali, as of yesterday, 70% first vaccination, 18% second vaccination. Simple and clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I've been pushing for that for quite a while. Let me just share my screen with you all for just 1 second. This is can you all see the screen? So unfortunately, the government has been putting out the numbers as in Bali as part of the target, which, as I said, haven't been too keen on having it presented that way. So I also think it should be the percentage of the population as well, versus that. So we'll maybe for those that are interested, we'll update that today for you. It's easy enough for us to do.
Hi, everyone. Just a quick question from me. Again, fantastic effort. Will this platform, do you think maybe the platform in the future could be a little bit more interactive for the consumer? Because where I see the big benefit is, particularly from a hotel standpoint, whether it be reservations or front office or concierge or anyone, this is such a great platform. As soon as someone asks a question, we don't have to confuse the guest or the staff get concerned about it. We just immediately push them through to this platform. And most of the questions that person might have should be answered. If not, of course, they can still come back to the hotel. But would there be a facility maybe in the future that there could be a live chat attached to it?
Yeah, there isn't any reason. It's just a matter of, okay, so Alex, you're scheduled for Monday.
Yeah, I thought that might be the resource issue. Yeah, okay.
I think that, yeah, it is a resource issue and the timing, and we may, though, be able to, I manage one for a client in Australia, Alex, and I can tell you that it's gone now. We've put some, we've kind of moved a little bit away from it because it was taking up a lot of resources and a lot of time. But let's have a look at the type of recurring questions that we possibly get and then have some standard responses. We can use the AI in a lot of the chat channels for that. So it could be something we move towards.
I think, Mel, in that case, then what I might do for my hotels is then just say that if you do have any questions, once you go onto the platform, you can come back to our own live chat, which is like on our reservations, for example, and then hopefully we might be able to continue the dialogue with the guest.
Yeah, at the moment, like, as I said, you know, we're sure people are going to have questions, but we really haven't addressed that from the board point of view yet.
And I think the last thing why I want to commend you on this is because I've been looking carefully at the sandbox option with Phuket, and it's really concerning that it's very confusing. So what is now coming out of it is that the people that are trying to get back to Phuket are now finding it very difficult. So it wasn't as straightforward as what it was said to be. And what they're trying to do now is warn others and say, look, it's not don't go. It's just, you know, they're not quite ready to go through the ease of enjoying your holiday there because there are so many restrictions, you know, particularly with isolation that you still have to fulfill, and you can't go to the mainland, and et cetera, et cetera. So I really think this is such a great idea to not, you know, not move too quickly, and then people come to Bali and they're not going to enjoy themselves because there are these restrictions and possible green zones and things like that. So it's better that all of that information is clear, and then people know when they do come that, you know, that it is going to be a more easy holiday than, you know, than what's happening in Phuket at the moment.
Alex, if I can jump in, I think that, you know, the point is exactly that. It's to sort of strip away all of the nuance to it, and to get right down to the brass tacks of, if I come to Bali, what's the expectation, right? What do I have to do? Do I have to wear a mask when I go around, or do I have to this, or then when I leave, do I also test, and what else? So when you know, there's 100 participants still on the call right now. I really invite everybody to read through the detail of it as if you, with the lens of, I'm sitting outside the country, I'm a foreigner, I'm going to come to Bali, I've been there before, or I've never been there before, but now I've been locked down, I want to get away, but I really want to know what the deal is. Is it clear enough for you? Does it link well? Is there anything that you say like that user experience isn't very good, or the wording isn't very clear? And I've had some great feedback on just some nuance and wording that has, I think, cleared things up. And the more edits, I think usually you get it better. So please, I invite everybody, we all invite everybody to send your thoughts on it. Yeah.
Okay, the next question is from Sofyan from Ramada Sunset. Need to clarify why information related to hotel quarantine is the least hotel in Jakarta. So for the time being, for the international arrival there are in Indonesia, there are only 4 airports in Indonesia. One is Jakarta, and then Surabaya, North Sumatra, and then Manado for the time being. But our secretariat has met with the KKP yesterday, and we will then work on the verification from the KKP to receive the hotel quarantine verification for our members. So just sit tight and wait for the information on the email blast from us. Okay, is that clear, Pak Sofyan from Ramada? Okay, thank you. The next question from Pak Darsana Komo Uma. He asked if there's any expat that already used the Peduli Lindungi to check on their vaccination data update on the application. Because he said that in that application required the NIC. So what we know from what was advised to BHA before, for WNA, they would require the SKTT number, Pak, the 16-digit of SKTT number, not the passport number, but the SKTT number.
Dia, if I may jump in. So yeah, that's correct information. So depending on when you were vaccinated, potentially they were not ready yet to register the SKTT number and the NIC for foreign residents. In the meantime, they are. What I recommend is that you contact the Puskemas number that is listed on the vaccine certificate that you have been given. It's a little carton paper that you were given during your first vaccination, and that you contact them. They will trace back. Based on that, they can trace back, obviously, with the date and the facility where the vaccination was done. And it takes a little bit of time. So it's taken a number of phone calls and about 10 days or so, but it does, at some stage, it does work. And I have both my vaccine certificates now registered.
I think also, Simona, the contact number at the bottom is the key. Whether the person picks up or they don't answer or whatever, the alternative is also to go to, what was the name of the office, Dia? Department of Health office, in the one that Widi went to. Yeah, so you can go there and you take the information and they will update the information correctly in their system. Others are being told to wait till they have their second vaccination, turn up for their second vaccination, and then the data will be inputted correctly. A little bit about the Peduli app. The government's idea is for it to be the one app that is used to tie in your vaccination, your PCR test results, negative or positive, Also for tracing, so if we ever get the QR codes to put into our hotels or business entrances, restaurants, bars, then when people scan that QR code, the data goes into the Peduli Lindungi app. That's the concept. There's also, from that app is also the link to the EHAC app, which everyone has to have as well. So it's very fractured. I've actually had access to it from a back end point of view. It's a bloody mess is the only thing I can say. And I have a technology company, so give them a little bit of time. They're getting it together, but envisage this when you're getting frustrated. Think of a 15-story building, and each floor is devoted to creating an aspect of the app, okay? And at times they don't talk to each other. So that's how they put their apps together in the government. So there'll be times where they will shut the app down, which they don't need to, but they do, due to load factors, because the server can't cope. We just have to give them a little bit of time to get their house in order, but they're going in the right direction by the look of it. If they can communicate what they're doing to the public, it actually should be a good app for tracing.
Yeah, like Melina said, it's work in progress, but if you're having trouble with the app, just use the website version in the meantime, which in general is a bit more stable and will also give you a quicker feedback. If you're waiting for the registration of your vaccine data, use that as a priority, let's say. Be patient and be persistent in contacting the right authorities, because yeah, it's not... it's obviously a lot of calls and information flying around at the moment.
And just one last thing. It's really important that if you ask any of your teams to use the Welcome Back to Bali site, please do not get them to copy and paste the information into an email, because that information might change and we're changing it. So whilst the URL stays the same, the content itself will change. So they're much better off to always link to the URL and not copy and paste the information that appears on the page.
Thank you, Mel. The next question is from Nungkir from Hotel Nico Bali Benua. She asked about the information in vaccination update. And she said that they have visited the BaliTourismBoard.com and they say they see different figure with the one that we have.
Okay, so we are not updating daily. We only update once a week. The numbers, we're not updating daily. If you need to see the daily input, there is a link underneath the post that takes you directly to the dashboard that is tracking all the vaccinations. As to what BTB are doing, you'll need to ask them and why their numbers are not the same.
Any other question? Thank you, Mel. Any other question?
All good? So just in closing, please, 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 please ask your teams to use what we've done. We've put a lot of work into it. The board's been really busy in making sure that we have the right categories. It doesn't mean it won't change. It's very fluid. It will change based on what is happening on the island. We have a team that is continuously updating. So give us a break if we miss something. We will get to it. But we do have in my office currently we have a 9, 12, and 3 o'clock update if there's something. So it's 3 times a day, which I think is more than enough at the moment. But more eyes on it, the better it is. More feedback we get from our members, the better the tool will become. And I'm going to hand over to Jean to close now. And Simona, thank you. And Kevin, thank you. Lawrence, thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Pajo?
Thank you, boss, and thank you for all of you for being on the call. I say it's something that it's a tool that we need to use now. We try to be the most updated that we can, but make sure to share the information, to use it, to share it on socials. There's a lot of work behind. Thank you for all the group. Thank you for all the BHA board for the realization of this fantastic platform. Hope you will find useful, and I wish you a very nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.